Welcome to another episode of Rebels in Review. Tonight we're going to be reviewing the season finale, Twilight of the Apprentice. If you have not seen it, I highly recommend stopping now and going and watching it and then coming back, because there are going to be some major spoilers. First thing I'm going to say about this episode, and it's not going to be probably what people expect, is that I liked that it was an hour long and we were 40 some minutes, and then it was nice and slowly paced instead of our normal 22 minutes fast pace. It had a good pacing to it, which is fantastic. Now getting into the episode itself, I don't even know where to begin. Where should we begin? I'll leave that up to you.
Maybe at the beginning?
Smart ass. I like Old Master, how to me he kind of mirrored Yoda. He looked old and feeble, and Ezra didn't think really this guy was a threat. I mean, I don't know if that was their intent, but I kind of like the mirroring of, like, when Luke found Yoda on Dagobah. He was this little, well, it's a little puppet, but Yoda or Luke had no idea that Yoda was going to turn out to be this Jedi Master, and Ezra had no idea that this was going to be a former Sith Master who still, as we saw, can kick a little ass.
I don't like how quickly Ezra came to trust him.
Uh, it was a bit fast, but at the same time, Ezra's been wanting power. He's been wanting
Strangers with candy.
that's weird to say, but
Hey, he
yeah.
climbed right on into the Sith wagon there and drove off with a stranger.
Well,
I don't know you. By the way, my real name's Ezra.
He
Let's be
didn't
friends.
immediately. He started with the old Jabba, but
It didn't take long, though, to get...
it didn't take long. But it didn't take as. Like I said, the nice thing about this episode is that at least they had a little conversation. If this was a 22-minute episode, Ezra would have been, 10 seconds in. He's like, all right, I can trust this guy now. And I think Maul was just fishing for an apprentice. I think that, he claimed it at the end, of course, but I think he really wants an apprentice.
Well, after what happened to his brother, and he knows he can't take on the people who betrayed him alone.
True.
And plus, the main Sith principle was there are always two. And he is a Sith. He's not an Inquisitor.
Well, he said he's not a Sith anymore. He dropped the Darth name. But
I think that's just because he's mad at Papa Sidious.
Alright, I'm going to go into probably the one thing in the episode that I didn't like. Well, there's a couple things and that would be the saber copters. I don't know if anybody else was bugged by these things. It was weird that we hadn't seen it before. Now they were all just like saber coptering. It was like one of them figured it out and he just showed the others, and this new Inquisitor maybe showed everybody else the saber. I don't know. Just didn't like it.
No, I couldn't stand it. If all the Jedi knew that you could do this, they'd probably all do it.
Thankfully, they don't. I don't know. That was probably the one thing in this episode that really missed with me. Now we'll get to some of the deaths, because there were a couple. Well, there was actually two.
I want to talk quickly first about, I loved, and this is a Force Awakens spoiler, I loved...
For those who haven't seen it,
yeah,
waiting for the
for
Blu-ray.
those two people.
Yeah.
But I loved finding the old saber, because it kind of showed us that something we already knew, that Kylo Ren found an old saber and repaired it.
Yes.
So obviously that was more of the style they used back in whenever
they
had this big battle in front of this temple.
It almost kind of implies that at some point Ben Solo at the time went, or if he was Kylo Ren, I don't know the logistics, but he went to this temple probably at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe he was looking for knowledge himself.
For all we know, Snoke gave it to him. We have no idea.
Well, yeah, it could be a lot of...
But that's speculation for another time.
Yeah. But moving on to you were a little upset about the Seventh Sister, which I didn't think she was going to die. I think she was a big hit with the fans as far as I could tell. She's definitely cooler than Fifth Brother, who I didn't care when he fell, but...
Yeah, I didn't care when Fifth Brother bit the dust either, but I yelled at the TV when they killed Seventh Sister. She was charismatic, she was cunning, and we barely got to see her. She was in a handful of episodes.
Yeah, probably the biggest gripe with this season is we had a lot of filler kind of backstory episodes and not a lot of Inquisitor.
Well, I'm tired of our rotating enemy. Season 1, Grand Inquisitor. Season 2, Seventh Sister, Fifth Brother. And after one season, they kill them. So I'm gonna go with the next Inquisitor, the one with the blue hands, who I'm not sure what alien race he is quite yet. I'm gonna give him a season. Maybe not even, and he'll be dead too.
Well, we know Maul will clearly be back. I don't know what Not that we have time for all the speculation for the next season, but I'm sure we'll do a video on that. But I don't. This is not the way I expected this episode to end. I thought we would have more resolution on things. But I guess we can skip ahead to the big battle at the end. Ahsoka Vader. What did you feel about that one?
I was on the edge of my seat, pins and needles the entire time. I'm an Ahsoka fan. I loved her in Clone Wars. I didn't want her to die. I know everyone's like, oh, big battle, she's gonna die. I'm not ready for her to die quite yet.
She didn't do enough this season. She was very under. I mean, I know the show is Rebels and it's about our Ghost crew, but they could have done a lot more with Ahsoka and didn't.
I also think that it would be in the Empire's best interest to capture her alive. We know that she was going by Fulcrum in Season 1, a big connector of the Rebel fleet, a big part of the rebellion, so I'm surprised Vader didn't even suggest trying to take her alive.
He did. He just say, "Hey, tell me where the Jedi are, and we'll go."
Yeah, that was a
easy
real quick thought, and then you, oh no, you're gonna stay here? You're gonna die.
Well, it's Vader.
I know it's Vader, but they should make an effort to capture her. She's got valuable information. She's more of an asset.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. I was nervous for Ahsoka. I really didn't think she was going through this episode. Which, if I could go back in time 7 or 8 years after I'd seen the Clone Wars movie and absolutely hated the character Ahsoka, I thought it was the dumbest thing I'd ever seen. I just left the theater shaking my head after that movie. And if you would tell me years later there would be this big confrontation between her and Vader, and I'd be in a way rooting for her, I would have never believed you. That it's a testament to the character, to the writers, and the actress or voice actor Ashley Eckstein, who's also awesome. So shocking.
I wanted to see Maul and Vader fight.
I think maybe next season.
Maybe next season.
Because Maul is definitely going to be. I think Maul's going to be a big player in next season. He's still, I think, got his sights set on Ezra. I think he hates Vader. I mean, he hates Palpatine, so clearly he's probably going to hate his new apprentice.
Yes.
One of the things I loved was when Ahsoka kind of broke Vader's faceplate and we kind of saw Anakin under. I thought that was probably the coolest thing in the episode, is just how they did that. How you got to see, I thought for a moment there might be a glimmer of Anakin left, but clearly at this point, and I liked how she even said something that Luke said, "I'm not leaving you." That was something Luke says in Return of the Jedi at the end.
Well, that could, I know it's backwards, but it could influence farther down the line when he did meet his son, and his son said that to him.
Yeah.
I mean, for all we know, that could be a part of the defining factor, is another person who says, "I'm not leaving you."
Yeah. Because Ahsoka did leave him, and I mean, that's...
She
probably,
did the first time.
I know Vader basically died after Luke said that, but it maybe in his last moments resonated with him. Who knows?
On another aspect, I loved the music. I loved the lightsaber battle between Ahsoka and Vader. It was very stylized, very true to what I remember Ahsoka's fighting style to be. It was lovely to see her just go all out.
Yeah, all the... I mean, there were several saber... All of them were perfect, and like I said, the music was perfect. I mean, if this... granted, you can't have an episode like this every week, but if the show could kind of do a little bit more of this and a little less of space whales and things like that.
You don't love space whales, space crabs, Maluran fruits,
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm just talking season 2, because season 1 had some real duds at the early part of the season and got a lot better, but more of this. I think it's what all the fans want. I can't imagine there's too many people who want more space whale episodes, but you can't do this kind of episode every week, obviously.
It's just terrible that this is the end of the season. I have so many questions. We also have Vader leave, and Ahsoka stayed at the temple. She walked off into it. What is she staying for? Why is she, what is she doing?
She's going dark side.
Yeah, right. And then my big question that...
The bird.
The bird. The owl thing. It was at the chopper base.
Yeah.
I have air quotes there because I've never actually called it that.
Yeah.
But it was at chopper base watching Ezra, and then it watched Vader leave the temple. What is with the owl?
My best guess?
Is it spying for somebody?
It's Yoda. Not physically Yoda, but Yoda's eyes or something. I think it's Yoda watching Ezra and Speaking of eyes, we didn't even touch on poor Kanan, which is a
Hey, he'll be alright. Walk it off.
what are we're gonna give him robot eyes? Like
Probably.
probably. Maybe he'll get like a
Or he'll just
visor
be
like Geordie LaForge.
No, he'll just be really
Sorry.
cool and be like, "I'm such a great Jedi. I don't even need eyes anymore."
He's not that
But
great of a
okay,
Jedi.
the only problem with the Yoda's eye scenario is how did the owl get from one planet to a different planet?
It's probably not even a real owl. I don't know, but they clear. I mean, there's clearly something to it. I don't think they accidentally
it would
used the same owl and randomly inserted into 2 episodes at the end.
I know it's a stretch, but I think it'd be cool if it was a shout out to the source, the planet that had the father, son, and daughter.
Oh,
That could be a representation of the Force, watching.
That would be interesting. I mean,
Watching maybe Ezra, who they could see as another strong, definitive member of which side is he going to go to. Because both times we've seen the owl, Ezra was doing a little dark sidey thoughts.
true.
First time he was getting mad because he couldn't control space crabs. And the second time he was unlocking holocrons.
He did, yeah. He did open the holocron at the end. So
Well, he levitated it.
it was funny how they hit. Well, he opened it. Come on.
Yeah, we know.
It's funny how they I mean they were teasing it like that he's gonna be Maul's apprentice by the end of the episode, and then it's like nope, gotcha. I'm still with Kanan. I'm still light side, and then just when you thought he was pretty much back, him and Kanan good side, he's opening the holocron. Season ends.
Yep. I think that's all I have. I mean,
Well,
this is
I mean,
a pretty.
We could probably talk about this for another 20 minutes, but I think we touched on all the
Big,
probably all the main points. I'm
big
sure
points.
there's other things. Said well, I'd love to do another video about speculation for next season because there's so much we can touch on. But for now,
That's all you're gonna hear from us this time. We'll definitely see you next season.
oh for sure, can't wait.
Keep watching our videos. And if you want to learn some more about what we're up to, go to our Twitter page at @tell_conja club. Hope you see us.